Something strange is happening inside the American economy, but most people do not notice it. Many people focus on strong stock markets and positive economic headlines every day. They see growing GDP numbers and believe everything is fine. They hear about low unemployment and think the system is healthy. But under the surface, the real economy is slowly breaking apart. It is not crashing suddenly or collapsing in one dramatic moment. It is weakening quietly, little by little, over many years. This kind of economic damage does not arrive with loud warnings. It appears through small changes that most people ignore. There is a growing gap between financial markets and real daily life. Numbers look good, but families feel more pressure every month. The economy grows on paper, but becomes weaker in reality. This damage is not temporary like normal recessions. It is long-term structural erosion that is very hard to repair. In the past, recessions followed clear and predictable patterns. Demand fell, jobs were lost, and later recovery followed. Today, the problem is very different from past downturns. The system is losing its ability to turn work into stability. It fails to turn productivity into security and growth into prosperity. Real warning signs are not found in popular economic indexes. They appear in how money moves through society today. They appear in where money stops flowing and who is left behind. Modern economies are now driven by asset prices, not production. Stocks, bonds, real estate, and investments dominate economic growth. Since 2008, massive money entered financial markets. After 2020, this trend became even stronger. Governments injected trillions through low interest rates and emergency programs. But this money did not reach ordinary workers and small businesses. It flowed into assets instead of wages and real investment. This created an illusion of prosperity and success. Markets grew rapidly while workers struggled. Home prices jumped and corporate values doubled or tripled. Meanwhile, real wages stayed weak for most people. Living costs rose faster than incomes in many households. In 2000, stock market value matched national economic output. Today, it is far higher than the entire economy. This is financial inflation, not real productive growth. Money now grows faster than real goods and services. The economy shifts from creating value to extracting value. This weakens circulation of money in society. Healthy economies depend on money moving through families and businesses. When circulation slows, the economy becomes hollow. Even strong markets cannot hide this weakness. Today, income growth is concentrated among the richest groups. The top 10% generate most consumer spending. This makes the economy fragile and unbalanced. Middle and lower income families now live in survival mode. Rent takes up nearly half of income in many cities. Health insurance costs have doubled in recent years. Food prices have risen sharply since 2020. Utilities, transportation, and childcare costs keep rising. Wages do not increase at the same pace. GDP still grows, but daily life becomes harder. GDP measures spending, not real well-being. Medical bills and rent increases count as economic growth. Debt payments also make GDP look stronger. High prices without real progress inflate economic numbers. The economy now rewards rent and access more than production. Rent means charging for access instead of creating value. Healthcare profits from confusing pricing systems. Insurance profits from mandatory participation. Digital platforms profit from controlling access. Banks profit from fees and interest traps. Earnings now depend on access, not productivity. Companies stay profitable while workers struggle. They cut jobs, automate work, and reduce service quality. Still, they increase profit margins. The system is designed for financial returns. It is not designed for stability or long-term employment. This creates permanent instability. Jobs are not disappearing, but quality is declining. Full-time jobs are becoming rare. Temporary and gig work dominate new employment. Many people work multiple jobs to survive. One income is no longer enough for basic living. Workers patch together income instead of building careers. They manage insecurity instead of building stability. Wages fall behind inflation. Benefits shrink and training disappears. Loyalty between workers and employers fades. Work becomes transactional, not cooperative. Low job quality eventually reduces productivity. Markets ignore this because they only see profits. Companies stay profitable by shifting costs to workers. Healthcare and retirement risks move to individuals. Households carry more responsibility and danger. This is not growth, it is social contract destruction. Housing shows this problem clearly. Homes are now treated as investments. Large companies buy massive numbers of houses. Corporate landlords dominate rental markets. Home prices depend on global investors. They no longer match local wages. This is why average home prices exceed $400,000 nationwide today. Meanwhile, average household income stays near $75,000 each year. This gap is not healthy or sustainable. It shows capital pushing families out of stable housing. Housing is not the only area affected by this shift. Healthcare works in the same harmful way today. Education also follows this profit-driven system. Transportation is increasingly becoming expensive and restrictive. These are no longer simple public services. They are systems designed to extract money from people. When basic needs become profit machines, society becomes unstable. The economy slowly turns against ordinary families. Financial weakness grows through exhaustion, not sudden collapse. Families take on debt just to survive. Credit cards pay for groceries and daily necessities. Buy now pay later covers clothing and small purchases. Medical bills replace personal savings. Emergency expenses become permanent financial burdens. Total consumer debt in America now exceeds $17 trillion. Credit card debt alone is over $1 trillion. More people are missing payments each month. This is not because they are careless. It is because basic costs exceed income for millions. Spending stays high because debt replaces wages. Debt becomes the main engine of economic demand. This is not real growth. It is slow financial depletion. Depletion systems do not collapse quickly. They decay quietly over time. The economy keeps running by borrowing from the future. Businesses depend on consumers who depend on debt. Debt depends on refinancing and market confidence. That confidence is becoming weaker every year. This system is not a cycle. It is a trap. The longer it continues, the weaker it becomes. Stability has been traded for short-term profit. Everything is now being turned into a financial product. Corporations earn more from finance than production. Share buybacks exceed $800 billion every year. Companies borrow money to raise stock prices. Financial tricks replace real innovation. Small businesses suffer the most from this system. High interest rates and rents squeeze them. Labor and insurance costs keep rising. Profit margins continue shrinking. Many small businesses are closing permanently. Fewer new businesses are being created. This happens because the system no longer supports them. Small businesses employ nearly half of all workers. When they fail, jobs disappear quietly. Markets do not care about small business losses. They only care about corporate profits. This is why markets rise while foundations weaken. It is not a contradiction. It is a dangerous separation. Finance grows while real life declines. When this separation becomes permanent, collapse needs no trigger. The system fails slowly every day. This makes today more dangerous than past recessions. Recessions can recover. Structural decay cannot easily be fixed. You can boost spending. You cannot rebuild broken institutions easily. Lower interest rates cannot restore trust. They cannot restore affordability and opportunity. The damage is now institutional. Politics becomes unstable as trust disappears. People lose faith in leaders and systems. Social division becomes stronger. Policies focus on short-term survival. Long-term planning disappears. Infrastructure weakens over time. Healthcare systems become overloaded. Education quality declines. Government becomes fragmented. These changes happen slowly. By the time people notice, they are deeply rooted. The next crisis will not look like past crashes. There will be no single villain. No single moment of collapse. The economy will keep running poorly. Growth will exist but feel meaningless. Jobs will exist but not pay enough. Markets will exist but feel disconnected. Confidence will eventually fail. Money alone will not fix broken systems. It only delays the truth. The real danger is normalizing dysfunction. People accept expensive housing as permanent. They accept debt as normal life. They accept unstable jobs as unavoidable. They blame themselves for systemic failure. At that point, the system is already broken. It only continues in weakened form. Decay is harder to reverse than collapse. Collapse forces action. Decay encourages denial. This is not pessimism. It is recognizing patterns. History shows civilizations rarely fall suddenly. They weaken slowly from inside. Institutions stop serving people. They continue extracting resources instead. The system keeps running after it stops working. Today's danger is not economic shutdown. It is permanent dysfunction. It no longer supports stability or opportunity. It no longer supports security. Then crisis becomes structural. It becomes civilizational. Economies do not fail when markets drop. They fail when purpose disappears. Recovery then requires redesign. Redesign is always painful. Today's system was built for speed and profit. It was not built for fairness or strength. Past systems break under pressure. The question is no longer if something breaks. The question is how long it survives while broken. The most dangerous collapse is silent. It becomes normal. When that happens, the economy fades instead of crashing.